What is your take on a keto diet? I hear it's become very popular to talk about the keto diet. Then I read some article in New York Times, I think, and it said it was like the worst diet of all. It's not practical. I mean, what is from the coach perspective? What is your take on the keto diet?
That's I love that question because it's tossed around so much, and I feel like through my own personal experience, and of course everything's based off of the individual's goals, but most of the people that I work with want to build muscle in some way, shape, or form, and I think it's not necessarily like a long-term thing. Just like I would compare it to like intermittent fasting, because I've done both, and for the majority of people, I feel like it's not sustained long-term. If they want to commit to that, and that's something that anyone can decide to do, I think that's great. But I know that the body for most people functions very well, especially the brain, off of carbohydrates. And when you have them at the right times and the right amounts, and that they have those the density of the nutrients in there, that it's hard to kind of replicate that. So the way I see it, it's like metabolic flexibility. You could swing back and forth between using fat as fuel or using carbohydrates as fuel. Some people are very, very good at switching back and forth. I would be an example because I've trained my body to kind of do that. But based on your own genetics and your biochemistry, some people, when they go into a keto diet, their body isn't naturally set up to use fat as fuel. It wants to use carbohydrates. And these type of people are usually those that are like skinnier. It's easier for them to stay lean and eat a bunch of crap and eat burgers and pizza or whatever. So I feel it has a place, and I feel it's a tool. All of these different diets and stuff, I feel like they're a tool. But for the majority of the normal person that wants to get in the gym and get better and all that stuff, if they completely take out carbs because everyone says they're bad, I feel like it's not an educated decision on their part. But if that's something they want to do, then that's great. So it's a tool at the end of the day, just like everything else, just like intermittent fasting.
So if you do it for a long time, like it affects you mentally, you lose focus or something. What happens exactly when you don't have carbs for a while?
Yeah. Just because I know the brain functions a lot off of those sugars. So when it has to metabolize fat in order for that to happen, I feel like my mental processes, depending on the time of day. So like, for example, the first meal of the day, I very rarely have carbs in that first meal, just because as soon as I introduce carbs first thing in the morning, I feel like my body gets that tired response. So I'll structure them a little bit like later in the day, but I'll make sure that they're in my body for pre-training and all that as well. But so when I just have a higher fat, higher protein type breakfast, I feel a little bit more focused because I don't have the sluggishness of the carbs. But I have really close friends that as soon as they have sugar, they're just like they're hyped up and they're ready to go and they have all this energy and stuff. So that's where it varies person to person. And from doing this over and over again, and what I do with my clients is I'm like, I try and teach them to get to learn your body and get some feedback, because it's going to tell you what it likes and how you feel. Like if you have a little bit of fruit before the gym versus having rice an hour or two before, like maybe you're going to feel a little bit different. So yeah, it varies so much.
What about being vegan or vegetarian? And can you really be a good bodybuilder being vegan? Because I know a couple, but they do it for religious reasons. And I know this one guy actually recently he became vegan too, and it seemed like he maintained his muscle mass. But in your opinion, can you really be like a really solid bodybuilder with being vegan?
I don't think at the extreme competitive level of bodybuilding at the pro level that it would be. You might see a rare unicorn here or there or something, but for my perspective of being able to have the right amount of amino acid profile, and like they would need a lot of leucine in their diet, so they would have to supplement a lot with different things here and there to make up for what they're not getting in their diet. So I feel like you can get pretty close, but you can't beat having the full-fledged diet. I don't think they would be able to compete at that pro level, at least for long term, and do well with that.